Well. So this weekend, I want to say maybe it was the end of last week. I started really hearing a lot about it. This weekend, the Epstein files have been released. The conservative is running to the front, talking about look, Jay-Z. Of course, the liberals they running to the front. Look, Trump. So I'll say this. First of all, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been in this for 8 years. I've been a conservative for 8 years. One thing that I know is liberals don't have working brains. They got a head, a skull with a bunch of blood and air. That's all they got. They don't have no brain cells. They don't have no mental capability of understanding. Their IQs or that of a fence post. So I get them. I understand that they gonna just be led by whatever they see in here, especially when it's against somebody they don't like. They not gonna read. They not gonna do no type of. Let me look and see what's the evidence. Let me look and see how this was really. They not gonna do that. They led by emotions, not truth. One of the reasons that I became a conservative and one of the reasons why I have a lot of respect and love for the conservative movement is because we are the opposite of that. We go off facts. We go off, we have high IQs. We are very intelligent people. We're also wise. Some of us have the Holy Spirit within us, which is, and we know the scripture tells us the truth will set you free, right? And that's the spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit, right? That God gave us because he's the father of truth, right? But I've been seeing a lot and I'm very disappointed. And it's the second time this happened. This happened, I want to say about a year or two ago, whenever the situation happened where some 13-year-old hillbilly comes out and says, out of all nights, and I got a video on my channel about that called Jay-Z Not Guilty. But I'm talking about out of all nights, she says that on the night of the VMAs, one of the biggest, it's not really that big no more, but at one time the VMA was a big thing in pop culture. And so and on the night of the VMAs, Diddy and P. Diddy, two of the most well-known rich moguls, instead of going get and deal with all of the women of any color, creed, size, and weight in the city that particular night, which is people come. It's not, you're not just dealing with the women in the city. You dealing with all kind of beautiful women that came from far and wide just to be in the city that night with the hopes of meeting somebody like you. They skipped over all of those women and took this 13-year-old hillbilly. When I say hillbilly, she's from Alabama. You got to hear the way she talked. They took her somewhere and raped her. Her father don't remember dropping her off. Her friend that was allegedly with her has passed away mysteriously since that happened. And people believed her. People believed her until that was debunked. And I'm like, conservative, y'all got to do better. Me and a guy of my conservative friend got into it over it because conservatives, period, especially black conservatives, some reason they have this hate for Jay-Z. And I just don't get that. I just never understood how in our culture that we hate each other so much that whenever one of us get caught, I want to make the key word here, caught up in something, like say what happened with Diddy or R. Kelly, we the first ones to come and convict them and beat them get them lashes and convict them before the judge even get a chance. You don't see this in other cultures. Even if you're dealing with white culture. That's why I tell people all the time, white culture, I like white culture, but not only do I like it, I respect it. If you don't like it, you got to respect it. Situations came out with Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein. That's one of their own, or you may say they Jewish or however, whatever, but you know, they white people. And guess what? You didn't hear white people coming publicly talking about them before they even got convicted. When they got convicted, the people who knew them and didn't support the thing that they were, the nefarious thing that they were doing behind closed doors, they just separated from them. They didn't make a big old, oh, we told y'all, big old. They want Jay-Z so bad, bro. Jay-Z don't do interviews. Jay-Z don't bother nobody. I'm not saying Jay-Z perfect. I don't know what Jay-Z off into. But what I'm saying is, why are we convicting this man before we even have any type of proof? We going off of what somebody said off a hotline. And this is also the thing that I've been telling my fellow Trump supporters and my fellow conservatives. So you saying it's true for Jay-Z, but it's not true for Trump. That's almost like saying if it's good for the goose, it's not good for the gander. You can't do that. Both of them is the same thing when it comes to these Epstein files, meaning it was people who called a tip hotline. These tips was never followed up by the FBI. So many people hate Trump in the last 10 years. Who knows if these people were paid to do that? People been hating Jay-Z. People might have was paid to do that. None of that comes into question. We just believe it and we conservative. We know better than that. If you don't like Jay-Z, you entitled to not like Jay-Z. Right? You entitled to that. That ain't, listen, that nobody, but to just make up something or believe something, when you watch as a conservative all of the lies and stuff that they did, even consider the same, right now, the same subject matter with the Epstein files, and you run with it with somebody who you don't like, but then you don't want to believe it with somebody you do, it just makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. So I want to play this video by Charlemagne. I'm going to play this video by Charlemagne. Followed by that, I'm going to play a video by one of my conservative sisters. But in this video by Charlemagne, I want to make it very clear on my stance on Charlemagne. If you watch the Dame Dash interview, I agree with Dame Dash and everything he said about Charlemagne. I call him Charlemagne the devil. I don't like him. He's what black men have become in America. Charlemagne is the average black man in America. Weak, castrated, feminine, beta, no wisdom. And they have nothing to give. But again, a lot of these black men are decorated, such as Mr. Charlemagne, who they don't even have no backbone. And that's why I call them castrated. And I say castrated because they gotta stay in line with the black woman, because if they don't, they gonna take 50 slashes. I mean, they gonna take, not only they gonna take public lashings, they gonna get cancer, because again, you know, but I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but I just don't respect people like him. He don't represent what black men, black masculinity is all about. Not even black, just masculinity. But I had to say black because all of these other cultures understand masculinity. Black people seem not to. This is why our woman, the black woman, has been she's the woman king of Black America. Black America is the only culture, as I always say, who the leader of our community is a woman. Every other community, every other culture is led by their men. But I digress. So that's how I feel about Charlemagne, the devil. He's just like Charleston White, Omar Johnson. They're broken clocks, meaning they're right twice a day, but wrong most of the time. And that can be very dangerous. Broken clock can be very, very, very dangerous, because what happens is you'll listen to this person and they'll hit it on the head with two major things and be wrong for life on smaller things that compound in a bigger thing that ultimately affects the black community in a negative way. And so that's why I say, you know, people like him, Umar Johnson, they're broken clocks and they're very dangerous to the culture, but they are right twice a day. Again, but in this video that I'm about to play for y'all, that y'all see on y'all screen, he's 1,000%. He's 1,000% correct, almost pretty much word for word. But I want to say this, you know, before the Epstein file thing came out, there's a lot of things people have been saying over the years. by Jay-Z. I don't believe him personally, but I don't know. Reason why I say I don't know, because I don't know Jay-Z. But I don't believe him personally. But that's just my personal preference. But I've learned, again, people gonna believe what they want to believe. That's just not how I am. I believe in concrete evidence. And that goes for Jay-Z, Trump, Eminem, Pusha T, everybody in these files that I like and don't like. That goes for all of them. That's one of my character strengths. I don't just go off with people say I need to see concrete evidence. You know, Jay-Z, to speak on him briefly, this man had a plan coming up in the projects to reach the top. And in my opinion, he did that. He accomplished everything that he wanted to be. You know, Dame say a lot of time that he wanted to be in Forbes. He in Forbes. He's worth over $1 billion. He got a decent woman. She's worth over $1 billion. They have 2 children. They didn't have children out of wedlock. In my opinion, he did everything right. But that's my opinion. And until I get, again, when you get new information, you have to update your facts. So as of right now, that's my opinion of Jay-Z. He's black. He's a great man. He's a great black man. And he's somebody who I would think is somebody, okay, he got a good family. He, you know, some of the messaging in his music, some of the things he said over years, I may disagree with, but I'm just saying when the rubber meets the road, he, in my opinion, accomplished everything he wanted to, and he's at the top of the top. But the thing about it is he's very arrogant with it. And it's not about being black or white. People just don't like arrogant people. Because the reason why they don't is because when you're around an arrogant person, especially if it's somebody who's arrogant and accomplished, what it does is reinforces how much you failed in life. And I don't look at it that way. But that's how I'm speaking on how people look at it. I don't look at it that way. When I get around somebody, I love to be around a person who arrogant and accomplished. You know what I'm saying? But that's not me. I'm one of those people who, no matter how, I don't let nobody, no matter how big somebody's personality is, I don't let that affect me and my personality. I'm gonna be me. But most of the time, that's why I'm just saying that's why people don't like arrogant people. And he's arrogant, very arrogant. And a lot of people hate that. And they wanted him to end up like Dame. See, a lot of people are happy Dame in his position. I don't know Dame's position, but this is what I do know. I don't know Dame's position. But we all know he ain't where he should be, in my opinion. And he should be right there with Jay. Right? But he's not. And a lot of people wanted him to end up like that because, you know, on his way up, he had a delivery that people didn't agree with. And when you had that type of energy toward people on your way up, on your way down, they're going to give you your ass they ass to kiss. And that's what happened to Dame. And I hate that for Dame. I love Dame. And to be honest with you, I look at Dame. I don't care about money and all that. I'm talking about the way I like both of those guys. But they basically what I'm saying, they wanted Jay-Z to be like Dame, and he didn't. He overcame Dame, you know, in his situation, which I feel like he gonna be great. I hear he got a new event center, like a celebration station, Dave and Buster's in Wales, Florida. I will visit that soon. But yeah, Dame is a greatness. And to be honest with you, I look at them as equally. I look at both of them equally. I don't care about money and accomplishment. I look at them both equally, Jay-Z and Dame, because without each other, we wouldn't know neither one of them. People didn't believe in Jay, but Dame. Dame the only person who believed in Jay. None of these big labels believed in Jay. And when it comes to Dame, Dame had other artists, but nothing was big as Jay-Z. He ran into Jay-Z after he had these other artists like Children of the Corn, which featured Cam. And they never made it until Jay. Jay was the one. And they believed in each other, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they accomplished what they did. And we know about both of them and still talk about both of them today. And with that being said, like, I look at them equally. You know what I'm saying? But contrary to how everyone acting now, and that's how people is, but contrary to how everyone's acting now, because I just want to add this back into what I was saying about how Jay-Z had a plan on reaching the top. But contrary to how everyone acting now, Jeffrey Epstein was a financial genius. You know, people leave that part out, but, oh, well, he got his money. There's a lot of people that had the same tools as Jeffrey Epstein, but didn't make. That's like I say when people talk about Trump. Oh, his daddy left him this. A lot of people family left them money, and they didn't end up a billionaire as successful as Donald Trump. You got to have some type of smart, some type of wits, some type of IQ, some type of knowledge to be able to accumulate a lot of wealth off what somebody left you, off a few tools that you had. And so Jeffrey Epstein, like I say, contrary to what everyone's saying now, was a financial genius. And everybody, the who's who wanted to rub shoulders with him at one particular time. And a lot of those people knew nothing about what he was doing. A lot of people didn't know none of his nefarious dealings. It's just like everybody. It's people we grew up with. It's people we may even call friends. It's people we do business with if we business people. And listen, these people may be involved with things that we know nothing about. Right? The person that your best friend right now, y'all might get rich one day. And something I'm just using it for example. Something come out about your best friend that y'all done took pictures with. Now he got a secret dark side about him that you know nothing about. Right? And now this thing came out, and because y'all famous is in the public eye, so now it's gonna be like, damn, you was in pictures with this dude. You knew what he was doing. You really didn't. And this is just how life is. We got family members. We got everybody, people we know, man. People live all kind of dark, extra lives. Did some people that was a part of what he knew what he was doing? Absolutely. Because as Kodak Black said in one of his songs, when you broke, they treat you like a bad joke. They don't even want to laugh with you. But when you rich, they'll do anything. They'll even wipe your ass for you. And in other words, when you got money, bro, people will look the way. People just want to be a part of that. People wanted to be a part of him and what he had going on. So it's a lot of people who was a part of it just because they had the same wickedness in them that he did. It's people who was a part of what he had going on just looking the other way because they wanted to be a part and close to him. It's all kind of stuff, but you're not going to get me to believe that all of the people, which is everybody pretty much is the who's who, had dealing with this man was into the same stuff he was in. You're just not going to get me to believe that. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I say, man, I wanted to add that commentary before I play this video of Charlemagne the Devil. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, bro, we got to be careful, man, as conservatives get doing what liberals do. I hate when the conservatives still got liberal energy in them. You know what I'm saying? And it just, but like I say, without further ado, I want to play these two videos, man. Of course, I'll end the video at that. But let's get into this, man. Hold up, man.
Goes to all the unserious journalists. Donkey of the day for Monday, February 2nd. Second day of Black History Month. Goes to all the unserious journalists, all the unserious people, period, who just ran with the Pusha T, Eminem, and Jay-Z are in the Epstein file story. Yes, we are going to talk about that this morning because I don't understand. And I would love to get some understanding, okay? If you haven't heard, this weekend, the DOJ published millions of pages, videos, and images from this Epstein investigation under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. I believe they said it was roughly 3.5 million records. There are all types of things in these files. First of all, massive privacy failure because 43 survivors of Epstein's abuse were published without redaction. You got addresses, driver license photos. So now these people are getting harassed online. It's nasty. Now, I know people are wondering what is going to come of all this, and the answer is probably nothing, legally anyway. I mean, the DOJ Deputy AG Todd Blanche said the files do not currently provide enough credible prosecutable evidence to bring new charges against other figures. I would say, well, if you take out all the credible prosecutable evidence before you release the files, of course they don't have enough credible prosecutable evidence, okay? But I want to get to the Pusha T, Jay-Z, Eminem of it all because that's what went crazy on my algorithm. I have one question. There's one question for the room. What do niggas hate more? Reading or accountability? What y'all think? Accountability.
That's
Reading.
a good
I
question.
think reading too.
That's a good question.
I think reading as well. Okay. I don't understand why y'all are so quick to want to tear our own down without doing just a little bit of research. Okay. By the way, I saw way more headlines about Pusha T and Jay-Z than I did Eminem, but that's not surprising because we love tearing our own down. Even though when you're talking hip hop, Eminem is one of us. Okay. But I don't even like the headlines I saw of him. All right, connecting Pusha T, Jay-Z, and Eminem to something like the Epstein files. Come on, man. Okay, listen, for everyone who may not know, let me explain to you. Mentions of these artists didn't come from Epstein's personal records. They didn't come from reports supported by law enforcement. Okay, these stories came from a crisis intake report, a public hotline submission, a tip that some random person called in from 2019. They aren't backed by court findings, indictments, confirmed evidence, and if you actually read the stories, they just simply don't make any sense. Okay, what the hell would Jay-Z be doing with Harvey Weinstein and Attorney General William Barr in 1996? That was the year his first album came out. Do you really think Pusha T in 2007 was hanging around Harvey Weinstein and was one of the victim's handlers? In the Eminem story, the woman describes how she weighs 300 pounds. This is her words, not mine. She says this in the report. She weighs 300 pounds, so a video of her would be easy to find. And in the Eminem story, she said when she woke up, she saw someone recording with a phone, and she thinks it was Diddy. Okay, these are public hotline submissions. The tips itself don't imply these individuals were investigated, nor does it in any way imply guilt for any of these accusations. The DOJ literally said some of the accusations posed could be fake or falsely submitted. By the way, anyone who actually took the time to read any of these stories would know that. Now, I don't have a problem with people reporting this. I just don't understand how y'all don't report this with proper context. All you outlets know that people don't read past headlines. So if you put Pusha T, Jay-Z, Eminem in the Epstein files, everybody is going to run with it. And I just be having to sit back and think, do we realize how much we are getting played, okay? Whenever the powers that be want to deflect from what they got going on, they will always throw meat to the blacks. Okay, because they know nobody controls the algorithm like black people. Nobody gets people going like us. Oh, Epstein files coming out. Okay, put out some of the stuff from the DOJ tip line. There's some big names in there, and it will be good this weekend because Pusha T is nominated for all types of awards at the Grammys this year. And people on social media, by people, I mean Drake fan pages, will have a field day with this, and they will talk about this so much that it will keep us out of the algorithm. Do we not understand how black culture is being used to protect the agendas of the elite? Okay, Epstein files come out Friday. Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. Black journalists get arrested. President Obama gets threatened with jail time. And just for a little razzle-dazzle, Jay-Z, Pusha T, Eminem, and the Epstein files. All to get your algorithm focused off the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and some of the most powerful people in this world. And sadly, it worked. But listen, when you're black and successful, it comes with the territory. And as my therapist tells me often, you can't have your success without the problems that come with it. And sadly, unserious journalism is one of those problems. Donkey here today for Monday, February 2nd. Second day of Black History Month.
Yeah, I agree with almost word for word for that. Not everything. But let's go to the last video for my conservative sister. Now in this video.
Okay, they finally released the Epstein files. Let's get into it. So in the 3 million documents that were released, Donald Trump is mentioned over 5,000 times. And I know liberals, you're like, oh my God. However, I need you to know that Obama was mentioned 2,500 times. Your boy Clinton was mentioned 3,900 times, and Bill Gates is mentioned 6,300 times. The way that the system works is you can type in someone's name and it will show you any document with that person's name. So the DOJ did warn, just because someone is mentioned does not mean they are accused. And I will say, after pouring through hundreds of these documents so far, that is definitely the case. A lot of the mentions about Trump, the vast majority, are things about his real estate dealings or just an email sent from one person to the next about Trump's campaign, or just fluff, honestly. Now, one document I do want to discuss is the NTOC call log. This was the FBI's tip line where people were calling and leaving anonymous accusations against Trump. Now, they're saying all types of stuff in here, but when you look closer, for the vast majority of them, when the FBI reached back out to try and get more information, the person never responded. They either left a bad phone number, they said that they were going to send an email with more information, they never did. Even one person, the FBI said they were deemed not credible because that person had 3 separate reports of the law enforcement needing to call and have them mentally evaluated. So, again, I'm going to keep looking through all of this because if Trump is guilty of something, I want to know. Right? As a Trump supporter and as a mother to a young girl, I care about this. I do want to know. But I will also be looking into why Gates is mentioned 6,000 times. Obama's mentioned 2,000 times. Clinton is mentioned almost 4,000 times. You guys should care about whoever's on this list, not just Donald Trump. And I have to say, this one document really gives credit to Trump's claims that the left slandered him throughout his entire campaign run, because they literally had people calling the FBI and making up stories about Trump. Now, I'm going to keep reading, and again, if he is guilty, I want to know, but I must say what I'm seeing so far leaves a lot to be desired.
And that's it on that, man. Thank y'all for watching, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. We do live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We do the master class on Tuesdays and Thursdays called Black People, This Is Why. I titled that for a reason that you're going to have to go to it and see. I didn't release it yet today, but it's on the way. And God bless. Thank y'all for watching. Your boy Vernon checking out.